Hey everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night. Welcome to the Wednesday, September 7th edition of StudentLoanJustice.org. My name is Alan Collins. We are the oldest. Oh, September 8th. Holy cow! So we are the oldest and largest grassroots group, actually, and only and truly fighting for student loan justice. We've been around for 16 years now. We've been around for a long time. And So we're glad that you found us. What took you so long? I'm pleased to report that the petition is now at about about 1,055,000 signatures, which is not small. To the best of my knowledge, that is the largest conglomeration of student loan borrowers in the country, and thus the world, and thus the universe. So wow, we're doing good on that. Hey, I want to thank Anna Martinson for this super cool pin. I don't know. See if I can dial myself in here. Super cool button here that she just made. We would like to make a few more of these buttons, by the way. And so I put out a fundraising appeal on the Facebook group here recently, and I am hopeful. We actually already raised enough to make like around, I don't know, a couple hundred buttons, I think. More would be good, but hey. Also, if you look up and down on this group, I want to thank Vanessa, who made some other graphics for us. And check it out. Do everything you can to spread those around. You know, we're a guerrilla marketing group. We just are. The most powerful muscle we have to flex is you. And when you help spread the word about what we got going on here, that's when we grow, and that's when super good things happen. So please keep that in mind going forward. We don't have any kind of a budget to speak of, but what we need to keep the lights on here, keep our internet connection, and so on and so forth. So yeah, word of mouth is our big muscle that we have to flex. And so if you don't do that, then we have no muscle. And that's just so important. If you have any questions or comments, throw them out. And if I can see them, as ever and always, I will be very happy to read them out on the air. Oh, there I am right there. I will be very happy to read them out on the air and respond to them in situ. So, good. So what's going on? Okay, petition's doing well. I said the thing about the buttons. I think this is a cool button. We have some other buttons coming, like the thing about swamp creatures. And and by the way, please support our artists. You know, we try and put up like PayPal links or Venmo links or donation links for our artists when they do cool stuff for us. Please donate to them. You know, art is important. Art can get more done probably than I can, being sitting here a talking head. So look up and down on this list, and you can see the most recent offerings that we have from our artists. So help with that, please. So tonight I want to keep it kind of free form. So right now, okay, first of all, let's see. We're fighting for two things, if you're new to the group. One, and this is what we've been fighting for 16 years, the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But the founders called for it in the Constitution ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army. So we continue to fight for bankruptcy, but guys, as of this pandemic, this lending system, by all rational metrics and measures, is failed. Like, big time failed. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's a bad lending system. Student loans were, it turns out, a bad idea in this country. And this pandemic is really the nail in the coffin. So we're fighting for the cancellation of all student loans now. The petition that I just mentioned earlier is kicking ass. We came up with a fairly novel idea, and that is that the president can cancel loans by executive order. This is a very important distinction, because he or she, but it's a he right now, can do this without needing one dime of money from the Treasury, without adding one penny to the national debt. Now, if you compare that with, let's say Congress canceling student loans, Congress has to raise $1 for every dollar in student loans they want to cancel, which is just stupid. because the federal government owns and already paid for these loans many years ago. Like 90% of all student loans were made and are owned directly by the federal government. So we put this petition out in March of last year, and as I said, it's now up over 1 million signatures. And we're stoked about that, but we could and should have about 20 or 30 million signatures. 80% of all federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans, even before this pandemic. So, come on, guys, word of mouth. Spread the word about this petition. 38 million people in the country are freaking out about their student loans. And they need us, and we need them, and they need to find us, but they will never know about us until you tell them. So these are your friends, your family. If you know 5 people with student loans, 4 of them were freaking out about their student loans. They were never going to be able to pay. So keep that in mind. One other announcement I forgot. We are doing a live stream tomorrow at 1 p.m., which is kind of an odd time for us. Normally we do our live streams in early evening. But this is something that's going out globally. This is for I think it's a Democrats Abroad group out of Paris, France. So it's going to be me and Mike Camoin, the filmmaker, Heather Taylor, who is our global leader, by the way. Hopefully you've seen her around, Heather Taylor. So this is happening at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, and I will put a link to this thing tomorrow. I will put a link to it right now after I get done with this live stream in the comments below this. So if you want to register for it and jump onto it, you don't have to be in France to do it. You don't have to be a Democrat either to do it. You could be anybody. We are a fiercely nonpartisan group. So, but we're thrilled to be talking to Democrats Abroad tomorrow, 1 p.m. Look for the link, sign up for it, and jump on. As far as I'm making announcements, I should probably also say, and this is very important, speaking of the film, the first episode of the film is now available on a limited basis to not the public, but everybody in our group who's within earshot of my voice. So we're rolling this out on a special platform. You have to pay $5. It doesn't go to me or Student Loan Justice, but it goes to the film so that they can afford to finish the film. This is like 6 episodes we're talking about here, guys. And making a film is expensive. And again, I will paste the link to the place where you can go and pay $5 and watch the first 40-minute episode of this film. It's bitchin'. It's good. This is the hardest hitting documentary ever to be made on the student loan issue. So please go there. That would be just very helpful for the film and for all involved. We are also doing a Q&A on September 14th. And maybe I'll talk about that a little later. If you pay $5 and watch the film, you are pre-screened, you're pre-cleared, you're in. If you want to come to our Q&A on September 14th. So, this is all a good thing, guys. This is going to be a very strong film. Could really make a huge difference in us finally getting this problem solved. We have come a long way in the past year and a half, if you haven't noticed. Student loan cancellation was not even, certainly by executive order, was not even a thing. Even this time last year, I think we were the only group that was publicly, day in and day out, calling for it. Certainly back last March of last year, we were essentially a voice in the wilderness. So hopefully you've noticed that today, loan cancellation by executive order is at the top of the news. It was a presidential campaign issue, and we are thrilled about that. Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer took the concept and ran with it. I didn't say they ran to good places with it, but they did take the concept and they ran with it. And that in itself is very significant. They kind of, frankly, dumbed it down to this up to $50,000 nonsense. But it is what it is. We're glad that it happened. It was very helpful for us and is a big reason that I can now claim that we have come so far since, say, 16 months ago. Also, if you haven't noticed, we have a great bill to fight for now, S-2598 in the Senate. This is from Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin, and also Texas Republican John Cornyn, both in the Senate. So, guys, we're kicking ass, and the sausage is being made right now in Washington, D.C. So now is exactly the time that we need you here helping us fight. Nothing happens when you sit there and do nothing. You can't wait and watch and worry and expect that anything good is going to fall into your lap. It just doesn't work that way. So the most important action item that I will mention tonight, and I may even close it out after this, we are pushing Republican governors all over the country to join us in calling on the president to cancel student loans by executive order. And I know a lot of you out there are thinking, no, I've got a Republican governor. He would never do that. Well, no, you're wrong. He could, and with our muscle, he will, he or she. Over a third of U.S. states, the people in those states, well, put it this way, in over a third of U.S. states, student loan debt exceeds the entire state's budget. That's a jaw-dropping thing that I just said. So these are mostly red states. These are states like Georgia, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Indiana, Alabama, Missouri, Ohio, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Virginia, Maryland, a few others. But if you listen to what I just, Tennessee, these are pretty red states, and they almost all have Republican governors. And if those Republican governors are doing their job, I know up to this point they didn't even pay attention to student loans. Why would they? It's a federal thing, right? And even to this day, as I'm talking to you right now, all of the governors of those states I just mentioned, they do not even know how bad student loan debt is affecting their state. They just don't know. They know about the state budget, they know that, but they don't know about federal student loan debt. It just never comes up on their radar. So we have, as ambassadors of the truth, we have our marching orders. If you live in any of those states, you should consider it your duty, your patriotic duty, your statesman duty, to take that information to the governor and help us push him. In fact, lead the fight on pushing him or her to call on President Biden to cancel the loans. I mean, look at Georgia. Georgia's state budget is $48 billion. That's a lot of money. People of Georgia owe about $82 billion in mostly federal student loan debt. This is enough to buy every farm in Georgia twice and still have $15 billion left over. So these are the kind of numbers we're talking about. Texas, terrible, $141 billion. Florida, $120 billion in student loan debt. So these guys should be on our side, and that is what I'm asking everybody to do. Call your governor's office, any of the governors states I just mentioned. Get a meeting with them. A phone conference, a phone meeting. Just a 5-minute phone conversation is great. Bring us in to that phone call, and we will do most or all of the talking if necessary. So if you forget everything I have said tonight, remember that. And I know it's going to require a little work on your part, but hey, give me an effing break. These are your student loans. This is your problem. Watching Facebook is not going to solve your problem. You getting off your ass and helping us is going to solve this problem. I don't want to go off on too much of a rant here, but there's a lot of people on this group that are working very hard. And we're getting kind of sick of the dead weight on this group who's doing nothing, who's sitting in the cheap seats, throwing popcorn, Monday morning quarterbacking, and that's not going to get it done. It's never worked, never will work. It's time for you to step up, own this problem, and help us fight, because we've never been closer. But we will never get there until more people on this group step up and help. If you have been doing the sort of grunt work necessary, I salute you. I commend you. I'm not going to say hero, but like we're all pioneers, the people on this group that are doing the work. Everybody else, get off your ass. Be inspired by us, the people who are doing stuff and getting stuff done. And most people probably watching this video are probably in the first group, right? So maybe I'm preaching to the choir here, but I hope a few of you are in the lazy group, and you need to get off that whole thing. This is not entertainment. This is not fucking around. This is solving a very big, very important national problem that is ruining your life and mine, by the way. So I'm doing everything I can. Ed's doing everything he can. The hundreds of people at this point who do stuff on a daily basis, they're doing what they can do. They could probably do a little more, but hey, I just, you know, any kind of effort is great when everybody does it. There's huge power in numbers, guys. We've now got the numbers. You know, on this group alone, we have like 20,000 people. On our petition, we have 1,000,000 people. So there's no good reason why we can't have this problem solved in a couple of months when everybody does something, like almost anything. So getting a meeting with the Republican governor of the states that I just mentioned, you would be pulling your weight in gold by making that happen. And like I said, we will do all the talking if we have to. That's fine. You can just sit there. But get us that meeting. So, okay, folks. Well, hey, I think I've said enough tonight. As I said, I was going to try and keep it short. I hope I did that. So maybe the very last thing I will say, if you can make a donation at this time, is very helpful. We can survive and thrive on very little. Fight and win this battle. With your help, of course, but also with your nominal financial help. We can't do it on nothing. We don't require much at all. But again, we can't do it on goodwill and attaboys. So if you could please go to studentloanjustice.org/donate.html and pitch something in, that would be very helpful at this time. So please do it. But I hope all of you are stoked. I mean, we've never been, as I said, in better position. In 16 years we've been doing this. And now is the time to get off your ass and help us fight and put this thing over the top. Because if you're like me, you're pretty sick of student loans dominating your life and you want this problem gone. Well, if that's true, then watch this live stream again and listen to what I said again and do all those things that I asked. Not hard, just takes a little tiny bit of your time and maybe a tiny bit of effort. So, all right, guys, well, have a great night. Ed will be back tomorrow, I believe. I will be back on Friday. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless everyone. Oh, and thanks again to Anna for these just awesome, cool buttons.